Hey folks, Aaron here. Welcome back to my anime review. Today we look at episode 1 of Fate Extra, Last Encore. Now, I will say that this is the show I have been most anticipating of the winter 2018 anime season. I have been hyped up for this show. I've been counting down the days to this show releases, and I'm not even joking about that. Like, I've been dying for this show to come out because I'm a huge fan of the PSP Fate Extra game, and when I heard that they were making an actual anime based off of that, I was pretty stoked, to say the least, because it's essentially, like, I want to say almost a homage to all the Fate stories, but in a different way, in a different take of things. And, you know, even the Fate Extella game, which came out, which was like a Dynasty Warriors-like game, wasn't bad either. I love that game too. You know, I wasn't as much of a fan of it as the Fate Extra game. Fate Extra I played, like, I think maybe no bullshit 3 times all the way through with different characters and stuff like that. But I really love that story, and I thought it was awesome, so I'm so happy to see the anime from it. And I'll tell you right now, episode 1, you know, I don't know if it's the best show this season. I'm not going to say it's the best show this season, but episode 1, Shaft, you did an excellent freaking job. Holy crap. So, in case you guys have never heard of Fate Encore, or Fate Extra Last Encore, excuse me, I will give you guys a quick rundown of the synopsis, this way you can understand what I'm talking about from here on out. We have our main character, Hakuno, who has woken up, in a virtual reality world where, you know, everything just seems to be normal for the most part. He goes to school, he has friends, etc. He goes to classes and learns about the Holy Grail War and the concepts of it, you know, the master's servants, etc. But he doesn't really know why he's doing any of this. He has no real recollection because he has no memories of the past and how he got here in this virtual world in the first place. Things change though for his kind of, I want to say, calm and quiet life when the Holy Grail War begins and all the various masters are then forced to get servants as fast as they can, and the ones that don't are purged from the system, which is this, I forget exactly, I think it's Mooncell, I believe, but which by the way is a take on the name of the company, if you guys don't have any idea for it, but it's I think that's pretty cool. But Mooncell is essentially the world that they're in, and then starts purging all the people that don't have servants. Luckily, our main character Hakuno actually is able to summon a servant, and you know, this is a Saber, Nero Saber, excuse me, who, that, you know, that's kind of a spoiler by the way, because it is, she doesn't reveal who she is right away, but I'm anticipating episode 2 will tell you that it's Nero Saber, unless they somehow change that, which would make me sad because I love Nero Saber. I think that's probably one of my favorite sabers of any of the Fate Stay series in general. But you know, I think that what's cool about Fate Extra Last Encore and just even the Fate Extra game is that it's basically a homage to all the other Fate Extra or Fate series. I want to say in general, we have like characters like Shinji Kotomine, Rin Tosaka. You see Archer's character kind of show up there, of course Saber. But you'll see also various other cast of characters show up and pop up in the show, and their purposes will be very interesting. I'm not going to spoil the story too much because I do think that they're going to still follow the same storyline for the most part, because it seems like we already got to the same concept of the first episode. Like, case in point, the hallway full of corpses, which, you know, you see all these different masters trying to summon the servant, which is Nero. What's funny is that was also in the game to a certain degree. It was meant to be the beginning of the game where your character actually dies, but then is somehow able to come back to life and then summon Nero Saber, which I thought was always kind of cool. But I love how the beginning of the game actually was also a big thing from, actually the beginning of the anime, but was also a thing from the beginning of the game, was also very similar, because the concept of, do you see the one master who was a female character, that actually is the female avatar, if you decide, because in the game you could actually choose between a male or female avatar. That is the female avatar you can choose, and I thought that was a very cool homage to the game too, and it really kind of worked in tangent with it. But I'll say this right now, so far we have amazing animation. Shaft, you know, they do some very similar things with their shows. I mean, like the Stairways. Seriously, I think Shaft has a real, I don't want to say hard on for Stairways, but seriously, you guys do Stairways in every show I've ever seen. Like, legitimately, every show I think I could think of has a stairway scene of a character going a giant spiral stairway some point. Bakemonogatari did it. Kubikiri Cycle did it. It just, the list goes on. It's somewhere always in there you're gonna see a stairway scene for some reason. But I digress. You know, it's perfectly fine because the animation for Fate Extra was amazing, to say the least. The characters, everything about it was just awesome. I really, really loved it. We didn't get an opening or closing really per se, but I'm still anticipating that the opening is going to be pretty good. Hopefully, I'm hoping the opening is good, because I mean, one thing I think about most Fate series in general, they have good openings. So I'm anticipating a good opening, hopefully. But my thoughts on the show so far is that it's going to be awesome. I feel like the story is going to be definitely to something that anyone who has not seen Fate will be able to get into, but at the same time, for people who have been diehard fans of the Fate series and the Fate franchise in general, they can get into this because of all the different characters and to see who of their favorites will make it in. Trust me, you'll probably see Berserker, you'll probably see Archer, you'll see definitely Lancer, I think, is going to definitely make an appearance, a different variant. But these are just some of the characters you will see, and I know that for a fact because you can already tell they're going off of the same concepts from the game. So I'm looking forward to it. I have high hopes for this. I think the only way this show can go downhill is if it doesn't have a lot of action. Because, you know, the one thing about the game that was very troubling with the game, it was that at times there was a lot of dialogue. And, you know, usually Fate, I always say this with Fate, probably one of my weakest things about Fate, or one of the things I dislike Fate about most Fate stories, is that they have a lot of dialogue. And it's not that it's a bad thing. I love anime with dialogue, don't get me wrong, but it has to be an interesting way of doing dialogue. You have to make it where you have to really be immersed in it. You know, like, for example, a show like March Comes Like a Lion, which is also a Shaft work, you know, that show is all dialogue for the most part. There's very little of anything else but dialogue. But there's something, you know, that engaging about it, I should say. And then you have, you know, Fate stories, which sometimes it's engaging, and then sometimes it just feels like they're just talking for the hell of it to talk. And I have problems with that sometimes. So that would probably be my only worry about this. For the first episode of this, I had no issues with that because it seemed like a little bit of a mixture of both. And it really, I want to say, kind of was pretty fast into action for a Fate story, because usually Fates, I want to say, take a little bit of time before they get into a lot of action. You know, the first episode will have it, but at like near the end. This had it from like beginning, like not the beginning, but well, from the actual beginning, yes. Then the middle part actually had a little bit of action, and the very end also had a lot of action. So I'm pumped. I am pumped. What do you guys think of the first episode? I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below. As always, if you're a new person here to my channel, please think about hitting the subscribe button if you like the reviews, hitting the like button, etc. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great, blessed day, everyone. God bless you all. Bye-bye.